So before we dive into the chord families, it would be great for you to get an understanding of Nashville notation. I want to encourage you that this is one of those things that when people really get it, it kind of clicks into place all at once. So don't worry if you watch this video and you don't fully understand it yet. Just keep exposing yourself to it. It'll eventually make sense. And when it does, I think it really makes you a player who can play. It's like it makes you keyless. You're not dependent anymore on, hey, I learned the song in one key and that's all I can play it in. So it'll make you faster in your transposing, and it'll make you just able to, when you hear songs, you'll actually know what it sounds like to go from one chord to another. So before you ever see a chord chart, you will recognize, hey, I know what that pattern is just by hearing it on the radio or hearing it played somewhere. So it really turns you into a by-ear musician. It kind of teaches you music theory through the back door, and it makes you just so quick to, if a key change is made or something like that, it no longer has to be something that makes you panic. So let's dive into it. Everybody knows your classic major scale. So let's just say we take each of those positions in the major scale and assign it a numerical value. And it literally goes right up the line. It's not meant to fool you. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're back to your 1, which is an octave. Now you know that each one of those bass notes, each one of these notes in the scale can be the root note for a chord. So if I was to take this in 2-finger chords and play it, it could look like this. And then you'd be at your high chord back to 1. So all we're doing is you've got your G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and you're back to your G. So what if we give each one of those chords a numerical value? And again, the reason we want to do this is because what we want to do later is move this song into another key without panicking and not knowing how to transpose. So say you've learned a song and you've got 1, 4, 5, 4, back to 1. And I know that because I know 1, 2, 3, 4. So that creates the bass note for that. 5, and then this is our start. It's our 1. That's what the key is in. That's what all of the scale notes need to correspond to sound good in this key. So if I know this is the pattern, and the worship leader says, hey, this person can't sing it that low, we need to move it up. What you can observe is this has a spatial value. You know that the distance between 4 and 5 it's on the same 2 strings, it's just up a full step. And you know the distance between 4 and 1 is changing strings. So what you can do is you can say, hey, if we're playing it in the key of A and the pattern is 1, 4, 5, I know that all I got to do is go up to the key of A, and then I play the same thing. That's useful. And you can do that all the way up the fretboard. So let's just say we take all of the general positions we'll use in worship. So you've got your 1, 2. This is how I play my 3. You could play it like this, but what I like to do is make it as if it's a 4 and drop the pointer. So I call it the 4 with a drop, it's a 3. So you get your 4, go up to your 5, and your 6. So 4, 5, and 6 are all in line. And then you can go back to your 1 with a drop for your 7, 1. So again, you've got your 1, up, literally a full step, 2 frets from there is your 2. We're gonna do 4 with a drop is 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 with a drop, 7, back to 1. So let's just say we take 4 positions from this. Let's go 1, skip over to 5, 6, and 4. So that's the pattern of our song. So let's just say we need to transpose that up 2 full steps. Oh my gosh, big deal. If you're looking at a chord chart and the song was written for the key of G, this is moving it up to the key of B. Panic, I don't know how to play the song. Yes, you do. So you know that this is 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G. So all we're gonna do is change the key. So the key is now key of B. So this is our 1, but all of the spatial things still apply. So you still know this is your 1, 2, 3. Well, there's your 4, 5, and 6. So what you can do now is go 1, 5, 6, 4, and there you go. You just transpose that song up 2 full steps to a completely different key, and you can still play it no problem. Now, what does this look like if you're going to play on the second set of strings for your start instead of the first? So I like to compare it like this. I like to say it flips upside down and it kind of looks like a reverse bolt action rifle. So I'm gonna go up to the key of D. This is a good visual spot to learn this. So this is our 1. Everything we play has to be in the family of D. So you got your 1, and now to go to 5, think of a bolt action rifle. The first thing you do after you fire is you open the breech. So we're gonna go up to our 5. We're going to eject, and that's down to the 4. Back to 5, rechamber, and then lock it in back to your 1. So we're back on the second set of strings. So 1, 5, 4, 5, and back to 1. So from there, we're gonna be able to find our other spots, but you can see it flips upside down, and that's because of octaves. I'll explain that in a minute. But the key concept is instead of going down, you're going up and back and forth instead of dropping down. So let's just trace out a few more spots. We've got our 1. Now you know from what we did before that your 2 spot is just up a full step from your 1. So you know that from here, that's your 2. And then if you go, reverse bolt action rifle, 1, 5, 4, you know that your 3 is just the 4 with a drop. So boom, there's our 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you know that your 7 is just your 1 with a drop. There's your 1. So if you were to walk this all the way up through and do a circle through the chords, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're back to your 1. So again, if you learn, let's just take the same pattern we did in the song before. The pattern is 1, 5, 6, 4. So we know this is our 1. We know to get to our 5, we were opening the breech of the bolt action. This time we know that 6 is up 2 from 5. So there's our 6, and then we know that we've got 5 and 4, so we know we gotta go all the way down to here. That's our 4 chord. So we would play that progression like this. 1, 5, 6, 4. So there you go. You just played the same pattern in 3 different keys without having to even understand necessarily what every note you're playing and every chord was. All you needed to know was what's the 1. You needed to know that the 1 was a D in order for them to say, hey, we're gonna do 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of D. But once you're there, you know spatially where you're going. So now let's go one step further and start applying this to what we do with worship. Let's just say we don't want to play these chords because we are an acoustic player and the good Lord made the acoustic guitar to sound good playing open chords like this that sound big and full and bright. So how do you know what chords to play? So let's do this. You know that each of these chords, the bass note, you know what that note is. You can find it. This is the E string. You know F, F sharp, G, blah, blah, blah. You can go up the fretboard. You can find what each one of those is, and oftentimes chord charts are telling you anyways. So if you get the pattern in your head of, hey, we need to play 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of D, what I would do is just go to my general knowledge, which is I know how to, make a D open chord. The next chord, the root is an A. Do I know an open chord that's an A? Sure I do. Do I know an open chord that is a B minor? Well, as we do the chord families book series, you'll find that there is one. There's a nice open chord for the B minor. And then you're ending on a root, which is a G, and you know that there's a G. So now I'm gonna take my knowledge and I'm going to apply it to the chords that I think sound the best. So I've got 1, 5, 6, but I'm playing these, and as I'm playing them, what I'm thinking in my head is 1, lock up to the 5, here and here. I'm thinking of how it spatially moves, even though I'm playing chords that kind of all are the same thing down here. So now let's move to a different place. Let's say the singer said, hey, we can't sing it that high. D is too high. Let's go down to the key of C. So 1, 5, 6, 4, key of C. So the first thing we need to do is go to our C. So here it is. And now spatially, everything is the same. So 1, unlock, eject, rechamber, lock. 1, 5, 4, 5, 1. 2 is up a full step from 1. 3 is a 4 with a drop. 5 and 6 are up in line from 4. And then 7 is just your 1 with a drop. So now let's do 1, 5, 6, 4. Boom. Don't even need a chord chart. You know how to play the song. You learn what the pattern is. They say the key and you say, I can get there. So again, 1, 4, 5 in the two different, if you're starting on the bottom string, it's going to be a natural progression of up. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to your 1. And if we're on the second set of strings, it's going to be the reverse bolt action rifle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So all of that is going to help you to understand spatially how the chords sound in comparison to one another. You've probably heard the phrase before, we're just going to walk down from there. Well, now this might help make more sense, because if you're starting on your 6th chord and they say walk it down, walking down means this. Because all you're doing is going progressively down through the chords in that Nashville thing. If you're staying in a major progression, you're just going straight through those. If you're on your 1 and they say walk it down to your 6, 7, 6. There you go. You just chose the steps in the middle and you made your way methodically down to that next chord change. So now let's get moving to the chord families, and what this is going to do is when you combine your knowledge of Nashville notation with the different chord family options, it's going to help you to not only learn songs quickly and be able to transpose them, but it'll help you pick the best sounding chords so that you're not stuck playing bar chords on an acoustic or something that's just unflattering to the sound of that instrument. So let's move on to the chord families.